Dire team pick.
He was playing a lot of it.
I was always suggesting, oh, they're gonna ET is good for them because I know they like the hero.
Yeah,
but
we used to take Bane ET together all the time.
He was playing a lot.
They might go for a Tide Hunter on side of VICI. Something that builds into mech pipe a lot of magical damage on side of Virtus Pro with just AA and sanking, so that's a good way to mitigate it.
Yeah, kind of. I was always suggesting.
Go for a Tide Hunter on side of VICI. Something that builds into.
Today they are back to the Lan and ET. ET great at bullying the lanes with the Bane. I think these are two of the strongest lane bulliers in the meta right now. So in case you to save it, team fight with the Elder Titan buffs up the hero's magic damage. It's a solid pick overall. It's great against the DP because you want to blow her up from far range. So that's a pretty good hero to do that. That's OD counter.
Yeah.
You don't want to buy BKB early on OD, but against partner you might have to consider getting it early.
Yeah, but still he can just decryptify the target that OD is attacking. Pretty good hero overall against him. And could be also already a counter pick to maybe what VG is setting up with the Void. You can get hit in a chrono.
But against partner you might have to consider getting it early.
Yeah, but still, he
Point very much getting most comfortable
against him. And
harder with
could be also already a counter pick to maybe what VG is setting up with the Void. You can get
Yeah, again, solid 11 hero.
Yep, great pick.
very much getting most comfortable harder with
could be also already a counter pick to maybe what VG is setting up with the Void. You can get
Yeah, again, solid 11 hero.
Yep, great pick.
have with Titan as well. Not really that kind of safe.
5 seconds.
And of course, this is very much another kind of raid ball.
Again, solid 11 hero.
Yep, great pick.
Pro 1, the pick Void, they probably
Have with Titan as well. Not really that kind of safe.
5 seconds.
And of course, this is very much another kind of raid ball.
go for Jug.
I think Vici probably take the
Remaining.
Pro 1, the pick Void.
then run that couple.
Yeah, but if they take Jug, they can easily sneak in Slark.
And of course, this is very much another kind of raid ball.
Stuns.
I don't like the jug against the D-Crab though. Maybe something like Terror Blade.
Yeah, I was going to say the TV's still there.
Then run that couple.
Yeah, but if they take Jug, they can easily sneak
So
in
much more lane presence.
Oh, we said right at the very beginning, we did pull it out right at the very beginning of what we talked about. You have to be careful because they can brood
Oh
you.
my god, none of their
none
of their
That's a
cores
great
can,
brood game, isn't
none
it?
of their cores can lane against brood. They forgot about the hero.
Yeah, this I don't know how teams forgot about the brood matter. We forget about it, but if I was a drafter, I would have just a huge paper on side of my screen saying brood mud.
Oh my god, none of their
They can sneak it in.
That's a great brood game.
Just a huge reminder with the blinking light.
about the hero.
Yeah, this.
It's like, what just happened?
It's the Vici special. I have the same feeling that I do now that Thunder did in Bucharest when they saw that Brood Mother.
Yeah, it's not something they haven't not done against this team either. They did it against Vici before in a grand final.
Thunder tried to lane the bat again.
Not
work
good
out,
over.
and I don't.
No,
So,
this is a corner. This is a corner.
It's a free brood mother game. Virtus
brood
Pro.
game. Okay, production just put Virtus Pro across the board, I guess.
No, just put
Just put a huge.
put a there.
If we could just put. There's no doubt about it in their minds. It is a Brood game, a very good Brood game, and therefore a good Virtus program. Let's head to the arena and ask Kyle if he would have also picked out Virtus Pro, because I'm pretty sure he would.
It seems the panel is just throwing words into your mouth, Kyle.
Yeah, well.
Do you agree? Do you believe this best of one matchup has VG Gaming just...
Yes, but they have Batrider, which is a hero that can deal with Brood. The only issue with Vici is that they don't have a method of easily pushing towers, so they need to ensure that the Broodmother doesn't run rampant. If they can do that, they have a decent shot, especially if they get a favorable exchange. Now they're on the high ground, so they might be able to take out AA.
A Broodmother not running rampant. Yeah, VG Gaming, okay, what have we got? We've got no glimpses, we've got no punishments, like... Bane cannot reach him for a Nightmare positioner, so it's just going to be what it is. But VG Gaming actually commit both Observer Wars to the southern side of this map around the ramp areas.
Both teams smoked there because vision is so important. You need to get favorable matchups for your Broodmother, and Vici wants the bat against him in lane. You cannot play OD very well against Broodmother, and you can't play Weaver at all. So as you can see, they put 11 mid, and I expect Ramses to possibly switch this around because you do not want to play Brood against Bat. And you can see Vici just, they can't have unfavorable lanes here or they're in trouble.
Yep. They just keep the rotations going. So as far as laning phase, it will be Ori and Lanham. There's OD and ET combination on the bottom lane going against what is a solo no one. So it's a solo Death Prophet on that bottom lane. Ramses mid Broodmother, no surprise whatsoever. Up against 11, he already predicted the lane by having that stick come out to him. So Ramses will have a large amount of regeneration. Ancient Apparition is currently running around with Fenrir around the Roche pit. So currently the floating supports. Roger's managed to pull the creep wave on top, so he's the SK on the north lane. And then Pasha and Paparazzi are battling almost underneath the tier 1 tower on the north. If he's not careful, Fenrir will be able to wrap up around the side, and then they're going to team up to try and find this kill. They went for Nightmare build over on Fenrir, combining with the Beatles, so negative armor will be quite high, and Pasha has no way out this one. VG Gaming, they will find the kill. Much to the delight of this crowd.
The only real issue with Vici's draft is they don't have natural methods of tower play.
That's a lot of damage coming in from Lanham. He had all of that damage stolen.
And I gotta say, Lanham's been underperforming a bit at this tournament, but...
Ramses? He's actually in trouble as well. That's 6 sticky napalm charges on him, but the Firefly was just wearing off for 11.
Lanham earned his nickname by playing this hero and smacking people in the mouth. Mid is going to do okay, but the lack of natural tower push is really what Vici needs to compensate for. They can't lose early towers to this DP Pugnant brute pressure with no response.
Now there's a great way to do it. You just keep doing the stacks on this bottom lane and just let Lanham use his spirit to steal more and more and more. And then he'll have all the damage to beat the crap out of the tier 1 tower on the bottom lane. You can see VG Gaming getting the momentum into Paparazzi. If he can get a good start, if this Desolator can arrive at a good time, then you're going to get the tower kill that you're looking for.
Yep.
It's very, very single target, but that's okay if you're just looking to beat down buildings.
They need to get their core items up and get into the late game because that's where the ET really shines. Broodmother is a hero that wants to win the game in the mid game, not push all the way to like 40, 45 minutes. That's where you start to fall off really hard, especially against a hero like Batrider, that the entire game can just lasso you. And if you look at VG's lineup, there's no real save.
He's coming for another kill, plus 72 damage thanks to all the stacks, but Solo, he was here ready to fight. Roger rotated over, but they didn't keep enough control on Lanham. Rather difficult when he's got that high movement speed. But you can see just how effective this ET support and bottom lane can be to create space. Pasha on the run on the top lane, back under the tier 1 tower. And decrepifying salve and just gets his space. But this is definitely a rough lane for a Pugna.
Definitely. I mean, Vici doing very well in the lanes though. If you look mid.
That observe ward that was planted down gave Solo all the information he required. And he's not just going to run down. In fact, he waits for 11 to show himself again in the mid, and then will make his way out.
It's just a patch. There's no way it's worth for a Batrider to chase an AA, even if a kill's guaranteed. He'd lose so much by just not staying in mid, so Solo just wisely runs up and waits a bit.
This Broodmother's starting to get up in levels. I'm wondering just how long Batrider can keep this fight going. Every time Firefly gets burned, it feels like he's just susceptible to the kill.
It's an interesting game. Like, VP has comfort heroes on every player, and they have the ability to play far more aggressively. Haste rune on Bat though, this is a huge rune. They need to land a kill on this Brood with it.
Well, if they can right now, everyone else is focusing in the bottom river. You've got support, the Fallen Solo, the cold feet, it'll latch and Burrow Strike follow-up. You can say goodbye to that ET. Ori's keeping the fight going. There's a couple of one charges. Roger just needs to survive long enough to stay close enough to get this Burrow Strike off so no one can get in range. Spirit of Silence and whatever. Throw everything you've got. Roger will claim the double kill and OD will fall.
What's 11 doing? He had a haste rune that whole time.
Yep, he actually had it triggered as well.
They had vision, like they know they're sticking around. He's getting multiple kills at least. Also choosing to go for a max Firefly skip flame break build, which I strongly disagree with. I think you have to max napalm and play aggressively with the flame break. That's what actually allows you to land kills in this early game, specifically on a hero like Brood. He's just going for like a farming build, and already Ramses overtakes him in CS because he doesn't actually have the ability to pressure him out of the lane. I'm
wondering actually how much experience 11 has playing this matchup in mid and against Broodmother. This is something which I don't know how often he's been pushed into. There's the Firefly bait once more. We've seen Ramses do this time and time again when he does these mid Broods. Attacks up a little bit, forces up, Batrider's Firefly, and then that's the defense gone. Everything else, like diving into towns, is really easy when you got that army of Spiderlings ready to go.
Dude, and 11 bought Tranquil Boots.
Yeah, he bought Tranquils.
You're not off lane. This is a mid bat.
How to start Kyle's morning. Roger can't make it close enough to get the Burrow Strike out of Lanham. I think he's still going to be cautious with this double stack. I don't know how often he's been pushed into. There's the that he can just beat into the port's top lane. Pasha, did he just juke that around the tree line? Fenrir will now finally find him, but he's too back. He's close to the tier 1 tower. So Paparazzi not trying to force any kind of issue with it.
It's the strength of this Pugna off lane. Yeah, you might kill him once or twice, but you can't actually threaten him. And he's getting his levels, and in the meantime, what does it really matter even if he leaves this lane to a Weaver? Like, there's no... It doesn't matter if Weaver gets any items. There's a Broodmother in the game.
You remember that game that happened
where did the tower die?
In Katowice? Yeah, he's gone through it. In that game in Katowice, it was 9 minutes when Ramses was pushing high ground. Now, he's just hunting 11, pushing him away to the bottom tier 2 tower. And it takes Ramses almost no time just to rotate back into towards mid and keep the pressure on the buildings.
I gotta actually go back and agree with our panel. It looks like that Broodmother, oh my god, that Broodmother just, it has crushed Vici's spirits.
Yep.
And I don't know how you recover in this game already. Like Ramses is the key player on this hero and for his team, and now he's just becoming unstoppable. A medallion and a soul ring up already, 1,000 gold to boot. Like, he can just run over this game because they effectively have nothing to deal with him.
Yep. It's like, what do you do to rotate in extra support? The Burrow Strike support is there from Virtus Pro instead. Lanham was optimistically starting off the stomp, but channel time is way too long to help out. Weaver's going to begin his TP in. Roger has Burrow Strike back off cooldown, hits the two of them. Ramses not really ready to fight just yet, but then again, he doesn't have to be. His Spiderlings will do it. Fenrir dying in the back lines, and VG are looking for a target. They've already killed off the SK underneath the shrine, but they have brought every single hero to this mid lane to stop the Broodmother against heroes like Pugna. 3 points up in Netherblast. This tier 1 tower on top lane won't survive long. Death Prophet just hit level 6. Exorcism will do the push. VG Gaming are just bleeding from all sides and they're out of band-aids.
Oh man, Toby, I was really hoping for an exciting match, and I'm concerned that
this could be quick, dirty.
This is... I don't know if there's like an appropriate Lord of the Rings analogy, because that giant spider would face more of a fight. This is going to be really difficult for Vici to come back, and they need to find kills on this Broodmother, but the draft of VP is so strong because, much like we've discussed, they have these 3 cores, and they can all apply so much pressure through wave clear, and then using that wave clear to kill towers. So even if you kill Brood with 4 heroes, you're losing...
I can give you a Lord of the Rings analogy. This is what the fight should have been. Spider versus Frodo versus Samwise Gamgee. Bullcrap. Those hobbits were meant to die to this. This is how a real Broodmother fights. Not in that freaking tower
It's epic fantasy. You gotta suspend your disbelief, okay?
Suspend? That entire movie was suspended in nothing but like, well, I can carry you. And I can carry you too. And I can carry you.
Look at, oh my god, look at mid.
Yeah,
Spider's fourth paparazzi to
11 TP out. When Paparazzi has to ulti like that, Decrepify Drain, no other choice but to go into the zone banishment. Ori can come back out. Paparazzi's now TP off the mid lane up towards top. ET's there to support, putting the Spirit out. A lot of negative armor. Burrow Strike. Roger just wants the TP to work, and they don't have a... Yeah, they do have the stun. Just in time for Lana, but Roger hides in the sandstorm. Paparazzi will find him. But meanwhile...
Mid lane.
it's Ramses.
Yep. It's the perfect example of just how to spread the map. Look at the ward solo placed all the way up top by the Dire Shrine. They have great vision. So Broodmother has total control of the bottom shrine area. That ward controls the top. And even though they kill Sand King, DP's still free farming. He's blasting the bottom tower, and the Spider's 11.
He's getting the lasso, able to find the Broodmother. VG Gaming, they need this. Ramses up the hill, needs to get rid of the Spiderling. Doing his work quickly, but not quick enough. Finally, death to the Brood at 333 gold for 11.
We'll say the build that Ramses is choosing to employ, going for the Orchid, might come back to bite him because you don't have the same defensive capabilities, and it doesn't help your team accelerate and hit this timing where you just go for a high ground. You saw 3-3 going for this Helm of the Dominator pipe. I feel like something like that could have been nice, but it's really just the BKB. And his BKB timing is where they win the game.
In some ways I can agree with you. In other ways I can also understand its logic. It's the OD who is very, very underfarmed. He's not going to have anything that's able to resist the silence. And because like the Doom was banned out in the later parts of the draft, you need some level of control against him. Or control against the Weaver. Because their lockdown stuns, it's kind of just SK. And even Death Prophet has completely bypassed leveling up the silence. It's a 3-0-4-1 build coming in for no one. So this is all great for pushing, it's all great for attack, but you need to have the space creation. You need to have Ramses finding these solo pickoffs as he controls most of the dire side of the map.
Just, it's going to be so hard for them. They're still in the game, but my big concern is 11. He's running around with, he has an Invis bottle, but he has Blink and Tranquil Boots. So he effectively needs to spend the next 5 to 10 minutes getting a kill every time Lasso is off cooldown on key cores. Brood is not going to fall victim to that same sort of play again. And bottom lane, you have a DP, but there's 2 supports behind him.
Well, Sentry Ward's down. They can see 11, the Burrow Strike. He was meant to be the aggressor, but the Owl gets plucked.
See Solo not making the same mistake Vici did in their game against Mineski. When they go to push the tower, he's got Sentry Wards.
See if they could even put another Sentry Ward up on top of that hill. Rogers moving up underneath the Observer Sentry. They don't have another one with them, Virtus Pro.
You can see the strength. In the meantime, Broodmother just farming. They group up with Pugna DP. The tower pressure is insane. Look top. What's an OD going to do?
That Orchid's actually coming out in the courier now too, so it's a 12-minute Orchid for Ramses. If anyone wants to try and fight this, he can just come in and help out and kill him. Nightmare on bottom, locking Pugner in position for half a second. Blink, Lasso, now going to go to work. Support needs to be there, but it's not going to be there. They just let Pasha go, Virtus Pro, accepting the casualty of war.
Now there's no Lasso. Maybe they look to go Roche. Broodmother can do it very easily with that Orchid Medallion build.
Maybe once you had the Exorcism back up again, I could feel that a bit more.
I just love what Ramses is playing, though. He's constantly cutting mid lane. He has the ward protecting him up top, and he can just play this Ancient Hill, so effectively he controls the entire top jungle. And if the OD just runs up a hill blindly at some point, he will immediately feed.
Yep. I think that's where Ramses is headed. Putting down more webs so he can get closer towards Ori. He's just around the corner from him, so Ori will walk down into Ramses for half a second and then realize that's a bad idea once he sees the web.
Just really good positioning. Acting as a living ward is something a lot of cores don't really do.
Okay, he's in the Firefly. I thought for a moment if Ramses was able to get the Orchid off before the Firefly came up that it's just the death of 11.
And I love the web control from Ramses. It's so good. He has the ability to farm 2 Ancients and cut this wave. And you look at it, it's a perfect line through towards the enemy jungle. So with web saved, he can effectively cut to either bottom, but most likely top, where they can play around this ward for the tower and for Roche.
That Ice Blast shouldn't connect, right? It's, yeah, it's too short. They have the Observer Ward up, but you need to throw that all the way back to base bottom lane. Roger's on the run. The Swarm will not be able to connect, but the Urn making it difficult for him. He doesn't have Sandstorm, he doesn't have Burrow Strike. So they stomp him into sleep, and Paparazzi and Chikuchi his way through the SK to find the kill. Meanwhile, up on top, No One and Pasha adding a lot of pressure to the tier 2 tower, but there is a rebuttal.
Yep, and there's a Broodmother just camping the shrine. How do you really contest this if you're VICI? There's still a ward up for 37 seconds.
Is under attack.
And the issue again, so yeah, they get a kill bottom, but who can translate that kill into an objective? It's not a Weaver.
They have nothing apart from just sitting there watching, and 11 walks underneath the Observer Ward. Got no information about that hillside. No one can just set up with the Yule Scepter. Ramsey's ready. Here comes your Ice Blast. Off onto the Bat Rider. He just explodes.
Oh.
Also, petition to actually not call him Bat Rider anymore. He is Owl Rider. But that's his cosmetic. You are what you ride.
I don't know if he was riding like some sort of mythical creature that empowered him to do triple damage and all his spells. I'm not sure it would help.
Owls are more powerful than bats. They should hear this coming, right?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how you don't see the Broodmother coming, but you know, everybody makes mistakes.
Oh, this Broodmother still is in the greatest position. BKB looks to be the choice for Ramses. He's currently only got the Ogre Club and doesn't have anything else in his quick buy, however, so
it's just such an easy game for VP from this position. You get the BKB on Ramses, you go right into Roche. How does VICI fight into a BKB Brood?
Look
at the spider scouting.
You smoke, you Firefly, and they actually can't walk past him.
Yeah. Look at top lane. They know that there's something happening because otherwise there'd be a player pushing that lane. Bottom lane, no one. Like, they know this is a move.
Roger. Around him on the bottom. Smoke will break. They know Roger's in the neighborhood. Roger needs to actually, well, starts with a Sandstorm. Burrow strikes down. He can't run away from 11. There's a perfect vision on him. I think at this point, Roger's probably happy to tank the gank.
I mean,
he would definitely like to have his Bling Dagger. This gets delayed by the gank of VG Gaming, but it creates the space for Virtus.pro to go for Roshan now.
I mean, you can see the logic. They're setting, they're playing like 3 moves ahead. This is, I don't know, this is Bobby Fischer versus a 7-year-old. At this point, though, VP has a big advantage because they've got like 4 queens and Vici's running around with like a castle. And it's a real grim position. You see how fast that Roche dies.
They're deeping down to defend this. The silencers are out. No one's still got the end of his Exorcism. Pasha needs to slow down Lanham. The Crepifying will do it. There was a Yule Scepter. A little bit of miscommunication from both Pasha and No One, but it won't matter.
Oh my gosh.
That's sucking from multiple angles.
I knew you were gonna make something. I'm just glad it was.
Hey, it was clean, man. It was clean.
This game isn't PG.
This. Yeah, let's not go there.
And the Ice Blast coming up to top wave. They move out of top. They just shove this lane thanks to the AA. And it's all about just slowing down VICI. They need time to kill towers. Like,
they've got it. Like this tier 2 tower is going to go down the bottom. Are you meaning like VG Gaming need time to kill towers? VG Gaming
needs time to kill towers. And they just get, like, every death that Roger has doesn't even matter.
Ramsey's just thinking about this. He's still got the Orchid available. So, where's your run forward? 4 stars, BKBs all arriving in. And the Broodlings are finishing the job. Maybe with Batrider slow down now the line. So, no one. He'll jump in, getting the Yule Scepter to disable onto 11. They can't get the control on Ramsey's BKB. It is way too much work. And a Burrow Strike follow-up. They're going one after the other, but Paparazzi at least got Chikuchi up beforehand so he could hide in Viz. Are they going to push up? There's no Exorcism available for the Death Prophet, so this will be a slightly harder push.
Yeah, no BKB on Ramses either. You don't need to. You just slow siege a bit. This is the strength of Pugna as a hero, where you don't really need to commit too hard to just spam your spells. And I like that all of VP's cores went for this acceleration item, right? The Orchid is not just a tool for pickoffs, it's a great scaling item for Brood because he can constantly spam his Q. You have the Death Prophet going Treads, Aquila, Yules. Quick, cheap items that allow him to stay on map and apply constant pressure, and it's the same with the Pugna going for an Aether Lens first item. They can constantly spam, even as a bottle. use their wave clear. VICI's now forced into moves like this where they only have this one lane to play in, and they're desperately smoking to try and find a favorable team fight, and VP is just going to feed his support and run away.
Yep, Solo is right there. If they want to have him, well, they actually can't even see him because they're both smoked at the same time. Mid lane is where they can turn their attention. The creep wave goes in. Virtus Pro, this is so obvious when a tier 3 tower is being hit and no one's defending it that something is wrong. But there was a huge army of Spiderlings beating into the tower. It's now lost 50% of its HP.
And it's just real smart from VP. They don't have the Exorcism just yet. He finished a blink. You can even wait for another round of items, but actually, you just use the Sages.
Exorcism just came back up, so is the BKB. Pasha is the one who's currently not there. Like, he's defending the bottom tier 1 tower. And they are kind of wanting to get that. Like, Paparazzi needs the gold, and he'll claim it. The Gen 8 attack. The second hit from it got the kill. Then the blink lasso. This could be even better.
He's going to be fine.
Pasha.
Okay, I lied.
The rebuttal is still going to be available. Battle Rider can't escape. Lanham wants to try and create space with the stomp, but Roger and no one sits right on the edge. Meanwhile, in mid lane, keep your eyes there. You always bring him back after a fight happens just to see what Ramses is up to. And
this is how you secure a game from this position if you're VP. They just cut these two waves, top and mid. They don't feed more in a team fight. You can feed one hero, get a trade, no problem. But you just chill, get the core items, get to a point where you're comfortable going high ground, and just chill with these two waves pushed, because it forces VICI to make unfavorable moves because they don't have the information to do anything different. Defusal up on proper though.
And Spider Army takes a lot of damage and then just regenerates it all. Goes back in to beat into the tower.
Forces Cliff.
Yep. And they're ready to fight. Like, Roger has that Blink Epicenter available. There's also a Blink on the Death Prophet. She doesn't have that BKB yet to be the beyond aggressive diver. Because you just know how no one's going to play it. The second he has that BKB, he'll be blinking onto 4 towers to try and find kills. They're going again, trying to kill off these Spiderlings. The Stomp, missing the target. There's your Blink Burrow Strike and the Orchid. They want to control the Weaver. Ice Blast on the way in. It does connect. The Weaver with Shadow. He must fly back if they're going to keep a chance of defending this mid lane. The Bane was already picked off too. No one. Oh, this streak is just insane. Roger, the Epicenter. That was optimistic, too far away. Now the Lasso trying to punish this SK. Meanwhile, the Spiderlings are taking out this mid-melee Rax. So it's a full run out. OD! It's a support only though. The banishment is still up. No one will come back out of it. Ramses wants to create some space. He has the Aegis Immortal. So he's just Orchid silencing over on Lanham, who is not a healthy man. No one's TP going to be successful. Yeah, it will be Ramses. He still wants to try and fight this one. Cautious nearby. He's left the Nether Ward down, so if Paparazzi and Ori want to try and fight this, Ramses will have a slime position of power. If he can make the web, 4-star from Pasha will allow that to happen.
And this Pugna ward, you can't play OD into Pugna, Toby. He wants to blink in, force around, and use Orb to just get some stacks going. That ult might kill a couple extra people, but you cannot do that when you're taking like 200 damage every time you use your Q. And what is an OD if he's not orbing people?
He's nothing. That's the reason why Doom normally deletes this hero. He's got Blink 4-star. Now going to go into the BKB. Ori realizes exactly what he requires to fight. That it may still just be coming too late. Ramses is at 14k, on the way to 15k net worth. He's now got a Desolator. So increased damage, ripping through the buildings, and it's that classic build of like, I want to do really early aggression, the BKB and Desolator, but it's not just that. He's got Orchid on top of it. Bottom lane can keep fighting. SK was stomped up, so he comes out of the Sandstorm, and he will not be able to survive that.
You can see the fear though. Ori actually going for the TP there.
Meanwhile, trade-offs.
Oh,
that's just a little too easy for Ramses.
So to kill a support bottom, VICI used a TP and an ultimate. Mid, Ramses just pokes the guy for a second and a half, and it's a trade.
And the Weaver can just watch.
Yep.
Because he's a core that can't really stop this. Like, he's still just single target damage.
And if you look at VICI's draft, that's their whole lineup. And that's like the key flaw. Yeah, the Broodmother kind of cripples them, but they're going to have a difficult position against any hero that just had like illusions or spiders, any sort of creep. They're just sucking a lot
And
of
the ward as well. Pasha comes a lot of damage, but into the lines. Here comes Ramses, looking for the kill into Paparazzi. He won't quite get it just yet. They're trying to drain the life back, but Pugner still be the first one to go down. He did initiate this rather aggressively, and Fenrir too close to the front line. The silence is out, but it's just not enough with the spawn spiderlings to get the kill on the Bane.
It's really difficult to push into Bane ET bat. Weaver bugs constantly annoying as well. VP, you probably just want to take Shrine here. You get the BKB up on no one. It's up already, but maybe the Lincolns. You can even go for potentially a double Lincolns on your Aegis hero, but honestly, it's just get the next Aegis and then fully commit and dive base like they did for that mid-Rax.
Do you think it's actually also better for just Ramses to be almost like the only one pushing in top and just push the rest of Virtus Pro to the south? Just split up VG Gaming?
It could work. Hang on, there's a big smoke coming in from
there's
VG.
a really large smoke. They need to get that initiation into no one. Roger is behind him. They blink away. Cold feet, Ice Blast 11 has to be forced up away to safety. Able to dodge that Ice Blast of Solar, but now hawking it up. The epicenter comes in with the Burrow Strike. Can they get him down? 11 off the hillside. Roger is dropping. The banishment is there from Ari, and he drops the hammer. Killing off the SK, but Ramses still in the lines with the BKB protecting him to find the kill. Somehow, 11 survives through all of this. He'll get his life back after bottling up the illusion rune. So extra charges for him. And that was the best fight VG could have asked for, but they're asking for more. Paparazzi lets the Swarm go with Diffuser Blade. They're slowing down Solid, decrepifying. Pasha gives him a little bit of extra life, but the last zone, they found the Brood Mother. This is going to be huge if VG Gaming can bring him down. OD's banishing into the back lines, removing all the VP support. Ramses practically alone, and down goes the Brood Mother. Moving into the Death Prophet. They're on the run by the Pro, and they're in real trouble. VG Gaming, they've got the numbers, they've got the power. They don't have a mid-rack, but that doesn't matter when you can get so many big kills to potentially turn the momentum of this game, and they needed it. There's a best of one. There is no second chance.
That is an excellent fight from VG. I think VP, they take this fight. They don't have Exorcism. The BKBs were not on cooldown to start the fight the way they need to. It's all about committing hard and getting a couple of kills. But once you let the fight drag out for 15, 20 seconds, your ward is down, your BKBs are down, and you can watch the replay real quick. This is just the cleaning up, but when you don't have BKB on Ramses or DP, they can't fight here. And the chasing power of VG is insane. You're constantly spamming spells. You're finding the lasso, tons of stomps, and this is where the OD becomes powerful, where it's the Force Staffs too. They're using them incredibly. It's the only reason Batrider survived for so long, to allow them to set up for this favorable chase. And now this second Roche can actually be contested. And like we said at the start of the game, Broodmother will fall off.
Yep.
He wins the game in the mid game. We're rapidly approaching 30 minutes, and VG is not out of this.
Yeah, VP just couldn't keep that pressure up. There's still a mid lane of racks up, so they need to slow down the pace of this game. Clear around their big abilities. You did mention it. Their next Roshan can be contested. This can come through big items. Ori, that BKB, he's now got the entire thing. So jumping into the backlines, there's no silences that will really control him. And the fact that he was able to blink in and imprison the Death Prophet without the BKB for no one being available, these type of maneuvers can actually happen. If you're fast enough, they could happen anyway, even with the BKB available.
This is the huge timing for VG as well. They have a fresh BKB on the Batrider. They have a 9-second BKB on the Weaver, and the OD just has his fresh one as well. Just picked up.
They are committing to this. The Exorcism is out from no one. They don't want to go inside the pit until that Stomp has done its work. But you can see VG Gaming, they want to pressure out the mid lane, give themselves a little bit extra room to breathe, maybe smoke up and come closer. That's exactly what they do. A 4-man smoke up. Lanham's the man that will just continue to spirit delay Roshan. Here comes the Stomp. Roshan already goes down. No one has the eager to see more than Ramses. He burnt the BKB. There is no Exorcism available. That's exactly the same moment that VG Gaming were able to exploit before.
And
but they're not going to find it again.
They don't want this Aegis on DP. That has to be a miscue. You do not want your Death Prophet to have an Aegis. You want them to have cheese. Now the lasso on the Broodmother might just win them a fight.
Yeah, Ramses is the one who picked up the cheese, so maybe yeah, misclick. Either way, Virtus Pro, they still at least got the full Roshan. VG Gaming were not able to contest this.
And it's just these BKBs, Toby. Vici has the ability to actually commit to a fight. The OD BKB doesn't care about anything.
Going towards the Shrine Fenrir. He just came for a deep aggressive Observer Ward. So the Observer Ward was, I think it was actually pinged down anyway. Yeah, it's been pinged down. SK's got himself a Sentry Ward. They'll plan it down. It is in range. Solo will claim the obs. That's quite important when that means the only obs vision that VG Gaming have is right in front of Roshan.
And you mentioned Doom earlier. Once Broodmother gets this nullifier complete, he's about 1,300 gold away.
He's basically Doom.
He is a Doom. And it's just hard because Vici is playing so well around these multiple force staffs. They have one on the OD, one on the Bat Rider, and if they can continue to just kite the BKB from Ramses or lasso him during it, it's all about the control. Once he's controlled during his BKB, as it fades, all of a sudden he's slept for that half a second before his spiders break it. The Bat Rider flame breaks him away. They astral him, they stomp him, and all of a sudden, you're not afraid of him anymore, and you have the ability to extend the fight until your damage output, thanks to this ET, just crushes through everyone.
You never forget about that amplification. You were talking about it during the drafting phase when we're off camera, and it's like, okay, just remember how much you're going to lose. Oh, the Weaver's going to finish up his nullifier first. As Paparazzi was rolling in so much dough. Had a Diffuser Blade and BKB before that fight around the north side of Roshan. Now he's able to find a full nullifier.
And they need a Lotus Orb. You can see Roger recognizing that. It's going to be his next item. The only thing to deal with this nullifier when it's cast on an ally.
So 2 nulls up. You've got, what else have we got? Pasha, he's actually able to survive a little bit longer. He's finished off an Aeon disc and now going in for a Dagon, so looking for his own pop damage.
They saw that smoke mid.
Smoke up.
They saw it. They have that ward. They're going to know this is coming.
That one Observer Ward that they had out was able to get information. Now they smoke underneath their own Observer and Sentry. But VP, this mid lane is pushing in. They can just claim top racks, and VG Gaming is still waiting on bottom lane.
This is a great move,
I don't think they've actually realized where Virtus Pro are heading. They're going to go in through the top. The Nether Blast will hit the tower, and VG Gaming, they're scanning. They're like, are they going in through mid? They're losing effigies in the mid lane, and now they're starting to walk back VG Gaming.
Wow, if they had committed there, VP would have gotten racks for almost free.
But they don't know what we know.
Yeah.
Like, we're judging from an armchair.
The thing is, this next fight, I don't care that VP's 10k ahead. They don't have an Aegis on Brood, and Vici has all the BKBs. Like, I cannot stress this enough. You cannot burst someone on Vici down because they have multiple forces and the Astral to save.
They've even got the mech. The mech got completed on the ET.
It just, Vici wins a fight very easily if they just get their BKBs off and no one gets immediately bursted down. And, man, this is a rough spot for VP. It's going to have to be decided during this Aegis timer. They have 1 minute, but in truth, I actually want to go back on that because it's on Death Prophet, and it just doesn't help you.
That's where maybe it's a better choice is to split push this out, but they want to fight there. They itemize to get in there right now.
You can't against a Bat Rider, an OD, both with Blinks, both with BKBs. Like, there is no real save for this lasso right now, especially for a BKB Bat. And if he just forces and drags any target back into his base, that guy's dead.
So the advantage for Virtus Pro at the moment is VG is still running scared. They're hiding inside their base. Means they're not getting as much experience in gold. Of course, this graph has swung around a little bit. It's starting to angle up a little bit more in favor of Virtus Pro. The biggest swing is actually in the experience graph. After VG Gaming had those back-to-back fights, they had almost a 7,000 experience advantage, repairing it from a 3.5k. But this is starting to get closer back to naught, back towards 0, because they're just fearful. They have to be together. They want to be ready for this push that can come from the VP, Aegis, and Cheese. Even though, because like, they know themselves, like, they probably saw it, like, who has Aegis and Cheese, but they'll still be intimidated by that fact.
What's going to be this third Roche? Refresher shard.
They actually gave the Cheese over to no one.
Yep.
So, Aegis Immortal times out. VG Gaming have successfully waited it. Unless VP is like, we were never going to push in the first place, guys. We're just waiting for a refresher shard.
Honestly, I don't think they would have. I really think that the moment the DP, because Ramsey's BKB to take Aegis, but no one was just spam clicking. I really think he accidentally grabbed the Aegis because you just want to make sure you get it before the stomp. And it makes the play for Vici so easy. It's literally just get the Brood. And there's no counterplay to that right now unless they have some sort of double Lincolns set up, which really isn't going to be up anytime soon. I don't even think they're itemizing for that.
They're not.
Pugna going for the Dagon, Death Prophet going for Shivas. Not quite sure what Ramses is going to get, but this is the issue. What does he get? Because this is the timing when you're winning the game. You're a Brood, you hit your level 20 talent for the 50 attack speed, you have Orchid Nullifier, effectively you have Doom, but you can't play aggressively. You cannot go end the game.
Now, how do you actually do that? Like, the only thing which I think helps him to get through the racks is something more like an Assault Cuirass to actually try and like balance out the effects of the team fight. Because you're already going to have a Shiva's Guard more than likely. Actually, no, you're not. It's a secondary Aeon disc. It's coming into no one, so you'll have an Aeon disc on both Pasha as well as no one.
And then you're going to get the Aegis on Brood, and effectively every player will be able to live through the lasso, which is what's necessary for them to be able to win a fight.
All right, so VG Gaming, how do you approach this? You've lost your mid racks, you're 5-man grouped up. As far as smokes go, you currently have none. You just wait.
I mean,
because that's where I thought like VP would, like, they could be so much more efficient on the map if you do this.
You name a better combo. China and waiting in the base.
Yes, that is true.
I mean, this is the comfort zone.
I've also cast a game of Virtus Pro where for almost like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, they sat inside their base and waited as well. So I don't think VP it's not just a Chinese thing. They're jump in, blink lasso, they found the target. It's solo. Goodbye, Ancient Apparition.
But you can see VICI, they're comfortable now moving across into uncharted territory, perhaps even past the river.
Oh, blink, Bar strike. They may think about this kill onto the Batrider, slowing him down. A nightmare for Fenrir, trying to create more space, but it won't happen. They drain him out. A 3-man silence dude. No easy rebuttal. Weaver has to hide inside the pit. The stomp from Lanham brings a little bit more space, but a flee forward from no one. Right in the back of Fenrir. Roger commits the epicenter, but he wasn't ready for a straight TP out from Lanham. So he will get back. The Exorcism is halfway through its duration. You can see Virtus Pro trying to make something out of this. They're heading towards the top. They can potentially force the buyback on the Batrider, but he doesn't have lasso for another like 11 seconds. So even if he finds back, they won't have the initiation they're looking for. They're still against Cheese as well as Aeon Disc on no one. So before the initiation gets burned, jump in. Quick blink away. Very, very quick blink away. No imprisonment options.
Just got a little too eager there. There wasn't save in time for the Batrider either. 11 couldn't get his own force off because of the nullifier. OD a bit late on his force and also didn't astral. So they almost lost Gem, but Papa made a really nice play, picking it up and then diving straight into the pit so he would survive. So that is a huge thing. Which is in that 5 to 10 second window where they just immediately hop on you as 5 and everybody gets obliterated. Roche spawns, early spawn.
They have to come real quick now, VG Gaming, because they have no information about this. They do not know that Roshan is up thanks to that early spawn time. So it couldn't have been any better for Virtus Pro. And this is a big one. This is the 3rd Roshan. It means so much more when you have a Death Prophet, because it means double Exorcism it's going to be available for Virtus Pro. And that's exactly who they put it on. They've stacked the cheeses onto no one, but he has the refresher.
And more importantly, Aegis on Broodmother. So now Lasso's no longer an effective hard counter so long as he saves this BKB for respawn. You got it. The way VICI wants to win this game is they get a lasso on him through BKB, or they try and kill him off when he tries to save it, lasso on respawn. It's all about killing the Broodmother and not allowing yourselves to get distracted, then catching a double stun from Roger, followed by AA ult, and oh no, there's no one on top of us too.
All of this stuff, like you talk about so much initiation into Ramses. If this fails, if they do not find that kill, he's got Nullifier. He's completed a full Bloodthorn. So if you don't have that many item slots, hey, why not upgrade your Orchid? But if he's able to get these things off, if you initiate and you use your BKB at the beginning, that's now it's still a 10-second BKB on Ori. But if VP can wait this out, you're in a world of hurt, and they can do that because Ramses has the Aegis.
This is big. The Ori, I love this choice. Not opting to save buyback, getting the Shiva.
Information. Blink lasso, grabbing Ramses, that bringing the help, being strip as well. Where's your Ice Blast? Was any kind of follow-up? They've got the Aegis, the Immortal, but you did have to commit the lasso. So there goes your control. Roger trying to bring some of it back. Fire strike, close towards Fenrir. That Ice Blast is going to be really good. On to 2. The BKBs are now out for VG Gaming. How much battle have they really got inside them? Pasha, the Aeon Disc will end up saving him as VG Gaming retreat towards the east. They've managed to get everybody else out of this one as the fight from Virtus Pro split into two different parts. The Exorcism will be burned, and VP will just try and make the best of it. They're going to take the Shrine with the Exorcism.
This is fine for Vici. They take us. They're still falling further behind, but it's
they're
slowly.
going to keep going. The BKBs are down, and because no one now just burns the refresher shot, they're going to go again.
Yep. No BKB on bat means they have this 30-second window where they can pressure and know that he isn't able to just uncontested drag them back into the base.
And with that mid-creep wave already in there, nothing stops Virtus Pro from doing this. Exorcism is out. Your BKB is ready, but they've got the blink lasso into double force up. The ice blast, it's real deep. Hits on one only, but no one protected. The Lotus Orb was what gave him the extra space, not to mention the Aeon Disc. So he backs up. VP claim their second lane of racks as VG Gaming try and hold the line. A quick imprisonment, but where's the follow-up? No one. This Exorcism will wear off soon. He'll get all that life back again. So even if VG Gaming initiate, they have to do double the amounts of damage to kill off no one. So they're just in full damage control instead.
And you could see the one thing missing from Vici's damage output there was the OD, because he had no BKB and he has no buyback. And Ori is so scared, one, of this Pugna Ward that just shreds him if he tries to do damage. And also if he catches that one stun into the Broodmother hitting him, he's in big trouble. And Ori cannot die if they're going to win the fight. Leaving that Rax hurts them now, but it sets them up to win the next fight. And I really don't think they have a shot there with their BKBs on cooldown. So it looks weird, but I think that's the call you have to make. And VP also making the right call by forcing the tempo, playing to win.
11. Wants the target. Blink. Can't find the lasso just yet. Ramsey's protected by the Lotus Orb. And you've got that Decrepify, making it impossible for Batright to get that jump just yet. But with the banishment, they've isolated him out. No one hits the silence. The BKB's Roger. Here he comes as well, but the BKB's protecting VG Gaming. They've got the strength to fight right now with the ET splitter. Still no one dead just yet. Solo into a nightmare. Paparazzi's waiting for it. No, he was a little bit too early on the attack. Solo is free and Paparazzi got put to bed. And they've got the drain. OD isolated, no BKB from him. You can feed him on the death problem, but all Fenrir can do is stand here and die. He'll go down to the rest of VP, who have now woken up from their slumber. VG in full retreat. The top lane is still pressuring in. So is the mid, and their two heroes down without buyback available for VG.
That was... he Astrals Brood, but Ramsey's just spamming his BKB button. Oh, it's just so hard. It's so hard for Vici now. The base exposed.
And
no buyback on OD.
And VP go exactly where they want to. Bottom lane, Exorcism just came off cooldown, so no one pops it. They want this bottom lane gone before VG is ready to fight. Blink Lasso, well, it is off cooldown, and BKB's available too. There's your Nether Ward, and the Blink Fire Strike, the Ice Blast, it's on the money. BKBs are up, Paparazzi will only take the chilling effect, he won't take the bonus damage from it. But Virtus Pro, they're still so damn tanky, and no one's still got cheese available. He can just switch this in the second he drops foot to get all that mana back once more, and you jump in. Roger, he found the target, it's 11, he'll have to fight back. Now VG Gaming are at least a 5-man team. Ori needs to do work. This is his moment. Inside the BKB. Protection as Rangers goes into his sleep, but the silence is way too good. VG Gaming can't use any of their abilities before they die. Trapped in the trees, and this looks like it's going to be the game. If Ori drops, then it's all over. He still has no bigger clip. He needs to bring the damage, but a 3-man silence again from no one. Under the Nether Wall, VP continue to fight with the creep wave behind them. The buybacks are coming in. This time it's the Ancient Apparition. Epicenter is being triggered. Lanham is losing lives quickly. Ori has to defensively impress him. Gep this intel stall. He's up to 32 at least, but doesn't have the ulti. 26 seconds before he allowed that available, but he hits like an absolute truck. As the boys going to go into the wall, but GG well played. Wave did all the work. Virtus Pro relentless. VG fought back a little bit, but it's just not enough. They are out of DAC. It was an elimination game. Virtus Pro advanced to the lower bracket.
Man, you can see how hard it is for Ori to play. He's up against DP Silence, the Orchid, the Pugna Decrep on his target. He can't deal damage effectively, and once his BKB's down, he's susceptible to dying at any time, and VP just playing so well. Like, they neutralize the right targets. as well. And I point to, once again, the championship move to kill that top racks. When the BKBs are down, they know they have the window, they get the racks, and that's